Good evening. Uh, Today we will talk about the fourth paper of MSc Previous Physics, that is electronics. In this paper, we have two streams. One is the numerical analysis methodology, and the other is electronics part. In electronics part, we have semiconductor devices starting from BJT, then FET, MOSFET. I will deal with the BJT, FET, MOSFETs, and then the photonic devices like the LED, solar cell, photo cell, and so on. In the undergraduate classes, you must have heard about the basics of semiconductors. As you know, on the whole, we can divide materials in three categories on the basis of the electrical conductivity. First category, in which the conductivity value is almost all zero, you can say, though that category is placed under the head insulators. Then we have conductors whose conductivity is sufficiently high. All metals like iron, silver, gold, copper, they falls in the category of conductors, or you can say good conductors of electricity, whereas wood, plastic material, they are the non-conductors, or you can say the bad conductor of electricity. When I say conductor, means the easiness with which electric current will pass through it when appropriate voltage is applied across it. Slowly and slowly, the scientific community learned the third category, which is known as the semiconductor at 0 degree Kelvin, that is absolutely 0 degree. We have two categories only, but as we move on to the room temperature, that is around 27 degrees centigrade, or you can say 300 degree Kelvin, then scientists observed a little conductivity value in certain materials, which were called later on as semiconductors. Semiconductor is basically that category of material whose conductivity value is not zero, it is slightly more than zero, you can say, but it is very less than the conductors. All this is decided by the band theory of solids. Band theory. You might have heard about the orbital structure of the atom. In orbital structure, we have assumed that electron spins around nucleus in circular orbits. We have defined various energy levels. Say for hydrogen atom, we have said that energy electron can remain in those states where its energy is 13.6 divided by n square electron volt, if you remember. But you also remember about the radius of orbits which were in the atomic model. The radius of these orbits is again of the order of angstrom. For that also you have derived a formula like 0.5 something divided into n square divided by z angstrom. So we see that the energy levels are in the range of electron volt, whereas the radius is in the range of angstrom. But when we move on to the solid structure, the interatomic distance is again in the angstrom order. So that picture which was proposed in the atomic model of a isolated atom is not same when two or more atoms combine to form solid structure. In solids, depending on various type of atomic arrangement, various types of solids are created and their properties is again modified. And because the interatomic distance is again of the order of angstrom, so our energy level changes. And instead of sharp energy values, we have energy band. Or in simple words, you can say your band structure is created in solids, and on the basis of that band structure we have created three categories. The first one is insulator, second one is the conductors, and third one is in between, that is semiconductor. You might have learned or might have gone through the examples and various calculations at undergraduate level that the simplest example of semiconductor is silicon and germanium. Whose band gap is the energy level difference between conduction and valence band, that is of the order of 1 electron volt. In one case it is slightly less than 1, whereas in other it is slightly more than 1 electron volt. Silicon is the best example of semiconductor which is nowadays used in large quantity, because silicon is easily available everywhere. That's why you might have heard about the Silicon Valley project in different places of the world, and wherever any government is able to create a Silicon Valley project zone, there the value of the land automatically increases because of the large demand of silicon in fabrication of the semiconductor material. The main advantage of semiconductor material or semiconductor physics is that with the advancement of semiconductors, the miniaturization of the consumer electronics becomes possible. Earlier, if you remember, earlier we were using resistance, capacitance, inductance as passive elements, diode, triode, tetrode, pentode as active elements. And by the use of the tube structures, the size of the electronic devices was very huge. If you remember a old style radio or television, I think most of you might not have even seen, you will wonder that old radio or television have volume or weight, you can say, many times the weight or volume which today's radio or television set have. Moreover, the tuning efficiency, tuning capacity, or you can say channel capacity, is increasing day by day, size is reducing day by day, and that reduction in size and cost also, earlier having a radio in your house was treated as the symbol of richness. But now radio has got to know, we have radio, television, more than that in our pocket. In a mobile, you can say every facility is with you, and that is possible with the advancement of this semiconductor physics. So coming back to our point, semiconductor physics, earlier you have read about the p-type material, the n-type material, and when we fuse together you get p-n junction, and p-n junction is very similar to your diode, that when P is positive, N is negative, current will flow through it, and if reverse, current will not flow through it. Accordingly, you have defined the forward bias and the reverse bias connection. In normal PN junction, the reverse bias current is not zero, whereas in case of tube, the reverse bias, you can say, or when the cathode is positive and anode is negative, no current flows through it. Of course, that has its own advantage, and even today in strategic applications we still use tubes because they are more efficient, more perfect. The chances of error are very less. You can say they are more reliable. The only thing is their cost is very high. In PN junction, the cost has reduced, but due to the cost effectiveness, its use in various branches have increased. Accordingly, nowadays we are using it to fabricate the rectifier. We have half wave rectifier, full wave rectifier, bridge wave rectifier. All everywhere you can use simple PN junction. Then you might have heard about the structure of a transistor. In PN junction you have done even experiment at undergraduation level regarding the study of forward bias and reverse bias. In reverse bias we have a diode which is used in voltage stabilization known as Zener diode. Experiment also you performed in your laboratory at undergraduate level. Then we move on to the three region structure known as transistor, where 2p 1n or 2n 1p. Accordingly, we have PNP or NPN transistor. There also the NPN or PNP transistor, we have two biases. Again, we have input side bias, we have output side bias. There you have used the concept that input junction is always forward biased, output junction is always reverse biased. So forward and reverse bias concept was again there, but in a transistor you can define in a very simple way. A transistor is the combination of two PN junctions connected back to back. If you have two separate PN junctions and if you connect back to back, you will get one transistor. So that is the result of two PN junction diodes connected back to back. In transistor also we have various type of bias circuits. You might have heard about the bias stabilization, thermal runaway problem of the transistor. Moreover, at undergraduate level you have heard about that transistor is a current operated device. Now, why it is called as current operated device? Because here current is main deciding factor. Deciding factor in the sense a very small change in current leads to a very small change in voltage leads to a very large change in current. In case of tube, you have to vary your voltage in the range say 2 volt, 5 volt, 10 volts like that. Whereas in case of transistor, you have to vary your input voltage in the range of 0.1, 0.2, 0.3. And even then, the collector current will change in the range of milliampere. So that's why we say it's a current control device, current operating device. Current is main factor. So you have input characteristics curve in Transistor are also known as BJT. BJT means bipolar junction transistor, because there are two junctions to frame a transistor. That is why we call them as BJT, bipolar junction transistor. And BJTs are the current operated device. That device you easily use to fabricate the amplifier, the oscillator. You also use transistor as switch. But here also the use of transistor is limited because of certain defects, I must say. And that defect is that these transistors are not effective in entire frequency range. Of course, in audio frequency means range from 20 Hz to 20 kilohertz, and with a small input power we use transistors, whether NPN or PNP. You also know about the three configurations in which transistor is used, and those configurations are common emitter, common base, and common collector configuration. So at undergraduate level you have gone through all this what I have said in last 15 minutes. That is, you have heard about the semiconductors. Semiconductors are of two types. One is P type, N type. Pure semiconductor means pure silicon or pure germanium. But whenever we inject a third group or fifth group impurity into it, then third group means the resultant structure will have shortage of one electron. That's why we call it, in terms of electronics, shortage of one electron is treated as creation of one hole. Whereas if you add fifth group impurity, what will happen? The four electrons of the impurity will form covalent bond with silicon or germanium. Fifth electron will become free. So per impurity atom you will have one electron extra. So in that case you will have excess of electrons. So in N-type material you will have excess of electrons, whereas in P-type material you will have excess of holes, or you can say there the structure is short of one electron each. That's why we call the major charge carrier in P-type material is hole, whereas in N-type material the major charge carrier are electrons. And accordingly we explain the PN junction theory, and then we explain the NPN and PNP transistor. But these devices have their own limitations, as I told, that they work in the audio frequency range. They have comparatively lower power handling capacity. It is rather typical to integrate circuit to frame IC with the use of normal BJT or PN junction. That's why we switch on to still better devices, and that device is your field effect transistor, FET. The entire F stands for field, E stands for electric, FET, field effect transistors. And MOSFET, metal oxide field effect transistor. The usage of MOSFET and BJT, or FET and BJT, are almost all same. That is in the form of amplifier or oscillator or detector. But the basic difference is the BJTs were current operated device, whereas the FETs are voltage operated device. Here electric field becomes the main to control the motion of electron or hole from one region to other. Otherwise, the narration is same. There we have the emitter, collector and base. Here we have three terminals, the drain, the source and gate, source and drain. So accordingly we have three circuits also in this case, common source, common gate and common drain. So this is the introductory explanation of the basic comparison or basic development of semiconductor physics, how semiconductor physics have evolved, and within last, you can say, 30 to 40 years, not more than that, the semiconductor devices have created a very huge popularization among the human beings or among the mankind. They have totally revolutionized the living style or the lifestyle of the people. Nowadays, we cannot think of passing a day without mobile. It is possible because of the semiconductor physics. And you will wonder to know that cost of a mobile set is decreasing day by day. You can have a mobile set with same features after 6 months in half the cost in which it was initiated, and after 6 months what will happen, its configuration will again upgrade, and in the market a new model will come, and we prefer to that. And because of this branch, now we are struggling for the more storage in minimum space. Earlier MB was enough space to store. Now GB is small. Nowadays if you go to market, you will say set, show me the mobile set having 1 GB, 2 GB, 3 GB storage, 16 GB, 32 GB, 64, 128, like that. So that much storage and the RAM and the various other things which you all are aware of are possible with the development of this semiconductors, and we begin with this type of study, and it's a long journey to reach to what you are using nowadays from starting. So in this paper we will basically understand, we will basically learn the process by which the improvements were made from time to time to come in this range. In the next lecture also we will continue with the same. Thank you.